May.
Okay, let's get it. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the March 12th, 2025.
May.
I'm sorry. What's wrong with my master? Welcome to the May 12th, 2025 regular BIDA meeting. I will now call the meeting to order at 6:37. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with hearts full of reverence and expectation. We honor your name, for you are the God of wisdom, strategy, and purpose. And so we invite your presence into this meeting of the Business Industrial Development Authority of the City of College Park. Let your kingdom come and let your will be done right here in this room, in every conversation, in every decision, and in the future of our great city, just as it is in heaven. Grant us divine wisdom for today, wisdom to plan with vision and foresight, wisdom to steward the resources of this city with integrity, wisdom to build not just for the present, but for the generations to come. Help us to build bridges of unity, collaboration, and opportunity. May these bridges foster community, open doors, and make room for the necessary work to be done. We cast aside distractions, division, and delays. The time is too crucial to waste. Let our focus be firm, our motives pure, and our hearts aligned with what is right and just for the people of College Park. Let innovation flow freely. Let solutions rise up boldly. Let teamwork guide our every effort. May every voice be heard and every idea presented in the spirit of truth, grace, and shared purpose. Let our words build and not tear down publicly. Let our speech reflect the dignity of our positions and the honor of serving this community. May our language uplift, unify, and inspire progress. Help us to be open to growth, to serve, and to lend a helping hand, because we all need someone, and we cannot do the hard work alone. Strengthen our bonds as leaders, neighbors, and co-laborers in the work of transformation of our city open for business. Forgive us, Lord, where we have missed the mark, and help us extend that same grace to one another. We are stronger when we move forward in unity. Lead us away from complacency, lead us away from confusion, deliver us from every obstacle that hinders growth, equity, or progress. We boldly declare that College Park is a city of open doors, a city of excellence, equity, and opportunity, a city where partnerships thrive and the work of the people gets done for the good of all. Mark this meeting with clarity, collaboration, and courage. For yours is the kingdom, yours is the power, and yours is the glory, forever and ever. In Jesus' name, amen. Let's go around the room and introduce ourselves. I'll start with myself, and we'll go to the left. I'm Dr. Sabrina Miller Willis.
Vice Chair Tracy Wyatt, representing Ward 3.
Dr. Lethea Williams, BIDA Secretary Treasurer, Ward 1.
Lisa Parker, BIDA member, Ward 2.
Brian Hooker, Executive Director of BIDA and Economic Development for the city.
Dr. Emmanuel Adediran, City Manager.
Yonda Spawner, Interim Executive Director of the Gateway Campus.
Gerald McDowell, Executive Director for the ATO. Gerald McDowell, Executive Director for the ATO Airport Community Improvement Districts.
Courtney Brown, Deputy City Clerk.
Hannah Adiogun, Program Assistant for Economic Development.
Bone Lane business owner, business development.
Ikis Garcia, Program Manager, Economic Development.
Bianca Motley Broom, Mayor.
Celissa Jefferson, Ward 4 appointee. Latanya Wiley, BIDA attorney.
Thank you. And
Jamel McKenzie, Mayor Pro
Thank you.
Tem.
thank you. Any guests in the room who want to, could y'all announce? Introduce yourselves. She's sick. Okay, and Mayor Pro Tem Jamel McKenzie is sick, and she's with us virtual. Thank you. Right now, approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? The agenda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Approval of the minutes. Approval of the April 9th, 2025 minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for April 9th?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Any opposed? Okay, motion passes. New business, election of Assistant Secretary Treasurer. The next item will be presented by our Executive Director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, board members and guests. We are very pleased to announce that the Economic Development Team at the City of College Park has got 2 new members. They introduced themselves earlier. Ms. Hannah Adeogun, who is the Program Assistant, and Ikis Garcia, who's the Program Manager. You all remember from the wonderful service of Ms. Subritha Beasley, who retired. She served as Assistant in Economic Development, but also served this board as the Assistant Secretary Treasurer. So what I'd like to do is ask Hannah to introduce herself to you, as we put her forth to be considered to serve as your Assistant Secretary Treasurer. So Hannah.
Hello, everyone. As my director said, my name is Hannah Adeogun, and I am very privileged to be the program assistant now for economic development for the City of College Park. I am excited to serve you all and flourish in my position serving the City Park residents.
Thank you, Hannah. So with that, Madam Chair, if you would like to proceed with the call for nominations.
Call for nominations for the position of Assistant Secretary Treasurer.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Nomination, they need to name the
Wait,
nominee.
you have to say the name, nomination.
You moved.
Anna, can you say your last name for me, please?
Adeogun. Adeogun.
The correct pronunciation is Adeogun. She's Yoruba tribe. Adeogun, yes.
Gotta write it down.
Yes.
I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes. It's Adeogun. 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 So Adeogun. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, do we have a second? Yes, Alyssa.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, welcome, Hannah.
Thank you all so much.
And I want to go back and do one more thing right quick. Do we have any additions, deletions, amendments to the agenda?
Yes. I'd like to add, if allowed, discussion regarding insurance for BIDA as a collective and individually for each BIDA member, as well as legal coverage.
Okay.
And where will we put that? Where do you want to put that?
Not already in executive session.
Yes, something is going on.
We are going to have a claims-related discussion in executive session, and that might answer some of the questions. So I can talk about it generally, though broadly, on the agenda, if that's the will of the board, or it's with respect to a specific claim that's been instigated against the board.
Okay, we can probably just leave the legal portion till when you're talking about that, but what about the insurance? I wanted to find out about insurance coverage.
Okay, so we can talk about it I can talk about it in the public session, just where would we like to put it on the agenda, if it's the will of the board to. We can put it under.
We can go do it just before we move into executive session.
Okay.
So 6C, if possible.
Let me just, if I may, please.
Yes, Mr. Wyatt.
While I'm not 100% sure, but I would think that the position of that would be up to the chair. Where do you want to put it?
I would like to put it in before we go to executive session, right after executive director report.
Discuss insurance.
After what?
We'll make it number 8, and then we'll make executive session number 9.
No, I got the wrong packet. I don't have an executive session on mine. There's no executive session on mine.
You sure? Yeah, we got it.
I got the wrong packet.
Yeah.
Maybe I got the wrong.
Yeah, we have executive session. Do we have a motion to add, to amend the agenda? To add, insurance?
Motion to add insurance.
Motion for Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, do we have a motion by?
I'll second.
Seconded by, Dr. Williams. You sure you don't have it? You got the wrong paper. You should have made.
No, it's.
You should have made.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you got the wrong, yeah, okay.
What?
You have to take the vote.
I'll take the vote.
I'll call,
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, next, additional board training and discussion. We recently had proposal from the attorney to conduct additional board training. And we'll have that by the executive director. Will explain that for us.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You all received an email from our attorney suggesting one possible approach to continuing your education on the roles and responsibilities of the board and the power of BIDA following up to our February 1st all-day work session. After receiving that email, we got feedback from several board members that perhaps a small group approach to disseminating this type of training would not be the most favorable to you all. So, and also following the discussion, another board member mentioned that this is something that should be presented to the board as a whole for discussion and deliberation on how you would like to proceed with additional board training. So with that said, the attorney and I collaborated to put this on the agenda for discussion. And we wanted to share with you that you know this already, but there's several ways of proceeding with additional training. One of those would be conducting another retreat like we did on February the 1st. One of those would be to have maybe a training moment where in each one of these board meetings, we dedicate 15 minutes of time to cover a particular topic that might be of interest to you. One option was the small group option that was proposed in the email that several of you indicated you weren't in favor of that. And another option would be to follow the model of our esteemed city council and create a work session prior to a board meeting where we would convene, let's say at 5 p.m. on those particular days, to have the training conducted in a manner that doesn't, just like a work session, does not require action. So we wanted to let you know, we listened to your response to the emails that went out, and we wanted to open up the floor, Madam Chair, to talk about how you all would like to continue with the training that you received in February, so that you can stay sharp on these skills and keep abreast of all the things that are your fiduciary duties and your obligations. So with that, Madam Chair, I turn it back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Hooker. Do anyone have anything to say? Okay, Dr. Williams.
So I do appreciate the idea of a workshop, thereby making it public and being broadcast across the city, so that the same way the BIDA board can learn, our citizens can also understand the ins and outs of how BIDA operates, because I think there are a lot of misconceptions throughout the community as well as on this board about what we do. So I do believe the work session is actually a pretty good way to go.
Okay, anyone else? All right, Ms. Jefferson.
I would concur as far as a work session. My only concern is having it, if it can be online. My time is very constrained. So setting up a separate meeting, unless you're doing it the day of this meeting prior, I can maybe have some feasibility in my schedule, but with my time constraints, I would prefer for it to happen as a online Zoom meeting.
Anyone else?
I'm open to,
Ms. Parker.
yes, okay, so I'm open to any suggestions, except for the one regarding having training right before our meetings, because sometimes our meeting, can last long periods of time, late at night on our, regular session, BIDA board meeting.
Okay. And you have anything?
No, I think having a work session, but also having it by Zoom for other members can attend, I think is sort of the medium ground there, I think. So I'll say a work session, and also have it by Zoom as well, meet in person, but also have it available by Zoom, so other members who can't make it can attend by Zoom.
I'm in favor also of work session and having Zoom so that everybody, get an opportunity to attend. Anyone else?
Madam Chair, members of the board, although Georgia law last year passed a law that allowed development authorities to meet via Zoom, the law was limited to those development authorities created under Title 36, the statutory development authorities. I don't know why the legislature left off constitutional development authorities to my memory, so I'm not sure if we can legally meet by Zoom with a quorum. If you all were a statutorily created development authority, you could have all of your meetings by Zoom if that was your pleasure. But I'll check while I'm sitting here now and let y'all know before the end of the meeting whether or not a constitutionally created development authority, such as BIDA, can meet via Zoom under the terms of the law that was passed last year by the legislature.
Thank you. And I'm also, with you saying that, even if we could maybe start the meeting at 6 o'clock, maybe, and maybe get some training, right before, so we can get everybody. I'm open to that also.
And if the board wanted to break it up, Madam Chair, we could do pieces of them. I think the email that I sent out contemplated discussing all of the rules and processes and going throughout. We went through the charter in February, and now we have the bylaws, and you've adopted processes and procedures, and I want to bring everybody up to speed on those. So we could break it up if that's the pleasure of the board, instead of having one long session. Perhaps, Brian and I could talk and see how we could do something within the confines of a regular meeting. It just will take longer to get all the information disseminated and explained to you all.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Ms. Jefferson.
so Attorney Wiley, when the initial suggestion came out by email, you said that you had 3 sessions. So you're saying that we can meet by Zoom as long as we don't have a quorum?
Got it. That is correct. You all cannot meet as a quorum in a non-public meeting.
Got it.
And just to be clear, these sessions there was not going to be any effort to take motions to make changes. This is just informational only. So whatever came from any of these sessions, or however you want to have them, will require approval by this body in a public regular meeting. So informational sessions, you don't take any actions at all. If you have a special session where you want this training, because it's a public meeting, you could take action at a public meeting, but anything less than that would just be for informational purposes only.
This is Mayor Pro Tem, Madam Chair.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, you can speak.
I want to clarify that my concern about the training had nothing to do with us all meeting together, that it was just simply something that I thought the board needed to come together in a meeting and determine. I don't have any problem with us having small group meetings, especially if that's the only way we can do it on Zoom without a quorum. So I definitely don't have a problem with that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So what I have heard from you all, and first of all, I'm grateful for all of your feedback. That is extremely helpful. The things that stood out for me in the feedback was that if we do the training in a workshop session before the board meeting, whether it starts at 5 or 5:30 or 6 o'clock, we could accomplish several things. One, the streaming of the meeting would already be in place so that the training is available broadly to the general public and available for replay to anyone who couldn't get here on time for it. Number two, it maximizes the open meetings aspect of this and leaves us able to meet and to take action if something were to come up. Number three, the Zoom aspect of a in-person public workshop would still be available to those who may be in transit or not able to make it on time all the way here, but we wouldn't be saying it's a Zoom meeting, which would run afoul of the laws that Attorney Wiley mentioned. So for what I heard is that is a very desirable option. And if we were going to do the training on non-BIDA meeting days, we would vastly prefer to handle that via Zoom, either with everyone there if the law allows, or in smaller groups if the law didn't allow that. That to me sounded like a second choice as I listened to you all, but I wanted to share my summation and get your feedback on it to make sure I didn't misinterpret anything.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Okay. Thank you. Okay.
And Madam Chair,
Yes.
one more personal privilege I'd like to take as we wrap up, because what we'll do, I'll work with the attorney to figure out, we're going to try one of these workshops before a BIDA meeting. You all will let us know whether you want to start at 5 or 5:30 to the first one, and we'll see how that works. Perhaps if not at the June meeting, at the August meeting, whichever one you would prefer. And then also, I did allow our Assistant Secretary Treasurer, Hannah, to introduce herself. If you would allow our program manager to introduce himself as well. I didn't want to leave him out of being able to introduce himself to this body, Madam Chair.
Oh, thank you. Yes, please. Could you introduce yourself? And welcome.
On the spot. Thank you all for just having me be part of this team. I look forward to, as program manager, working with Hannah and working with Mr. Brian to deliver you guys' goals and initiatives, and really excited to be part of College Park. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have addendum to the Code of Conduct resolution. This item also will be presented by our Executive Director, Mr. Hooker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This board took a solid step forward in bringing its organization up into best practices standards by adopting a code of conduct at the last meeting. I am honored to be part of an organization that takes its responsibilities so seriously. During the discussion, it was clear that the will of the body was to proceed with adopting that code of conduct because it's important. Another idea was shared by one board member in particular to add additional clarity to the code of conduct by creating a list of definitions. We heard that idea, and as the attorney and I conferred, we concluded, let's act on that. Let's create the definitions that could only serve to enhance the code of conduct. So this evening, we wanted to present those definitions to you all for your review and your decision on whether you agree that those definitions should be added as an addendum to the code of conduct, or whether you want to leave the code of conduct as is. So with that, I leave it to you, Madam Chair, to facilitate the discussion.
Okay. Who wants to go first? Okay, Mayor Motley Bourne, thank you.
The feedback that I had on the code of conduct last month was that we didn't define some of the terms. And the one term, we didn't, I think Attorney Wiley had noted that we would use the same definitions as are in the official code of Georgia.
Yes, to the extent they were in there, that was my intent, yes, ma'am.
And this still doesn't say that.
With respect to development authorities? Or tell me what code section you're referencing, and that will help me.
Well, I think we talked about, I think, family members and things, that all the definitions that we were going to follow were going to be ones that were already in the Georgia code.
So I know I know that there's definitions of what constitutes a conflict of interest, what familial relationships constitute. Is that the statute you're referencing?
I think that was a conversation that we had last time.
Yes, I remember. But what I did here, and I'm sorry if I did not define, but because I thought we took care of the definition of conflict of interest as it relates to who would be considered an individual that would be considered someone to have create a conflict of interest. I thought we clarified that at the during the motion that was made for the approval. We took out, I think, can't remember who it was, but we changed it to family and business relationships instead of personal relationships. And I thought that was sufficient. I know that what's considered family is siblings, it's your blood lineage, I think. Right. So that's the statutory definition, but I don't think I have any definition in here of those, of conflicts of interest. So I can add that, Madam Mayor, of course, but I thought we clarified it.
I don't know that it was actually clarified in that we were going to follow Georgia law as it applies to that. And so
okay,
if we can put that in there, I'm fully supportive of the rest of it.
Okay. So that would be the definition. Do you happen to know the code section? I'll find it.
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
Okay. I know the code section to which you refer. And this definition that I created, this addendum, pulled out key terms that I thought needed, and I tried to put examples just to make everything more illustrative. It's certainly, as you know, at the top, I note that this is not to be an exhaustive list and to include every factual scenario or every term that's in the code of conduct itself. But if we could move this perhaps item, Madam Chair, if you would, if we could move it to after executive session, I'll have time, Madam Mayor, to address that concern. if that's the will of, if that's what you all want to do. So I don't know. I'm looking at I'm looking at the vice chair, Mr. Vice Chair,
you have a-
for his thoughts.
Thought on that, yes.
I'm in agreement with whatever the chair decides.
So you said,
I think the mayor is asking for the definition of what constitutes a family relationship, the lineage. And that's a statement that's straight out of the Georgia statute. I see it. I can't remember it, but I can just take it and put that in here. And I think that might address our concern. If there are other terms, please let me know.
I don't have an issue with, I'm just saying if that is going to be the definition that we are using, that we say it's the definition that we're using. That's all.
Well, I'll make that in the presentation. I'll bring it back if that's what the will of the board is, and add that family, what constitutes family, what constitutes a business relationship. That is in the statute of Georgia, so.
okay, well, thank you, Ms. Jefferson.
Yes, Madam Chair. So I would like to add to that. In regards to, I thought in our last meeting, you had clearly defined to include the business relationship. I just know as Georgia Real Estate Commission, in our contracts, we have affiliate or material relationship with any contract. So I don't know if that can be added, because that will definitely constitute, regardless if you're related to anyone, defining the affiliation as well as the material relationship of the contract.
So what we have to, we can add those in, or y'all can approve it with directions for me to add that in here, the statutory definition of family, and add the business relationship and expound on that. And you can approve it with that directive, subject to me making those directives, carrying out those directives. Or we can wait till the end of the agenda and let me doctor on it during the course of the meeting. But I certainly hear you, and I don't mind making those changes. They certainly would further enhance the definitions, and I think it would make it stronger. So if it's the board will to approve what's before you, with the caveat that I include the statutory definition of family in the code in these definitions, and also expound on the definition of business relationships as requested, you can vote, and I'll do that and send everyone the updated resolution.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chair, this is.
Hold on
Mayor
one
Pro Tem.
second. Hold on, Mayor Pro Tem, McKenzie. Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, I'm not,
Vice
the two
Chair,
terms that Member Jefferson mentioned, I'm okay with. I just, excuse my ignorance, but I'm just not sure what that means. What does it encompass?
Okay, Ms. Jefferson, can you explain that a little bit more?
What that encompasses is, it does not, Georgia Real Estate Commission, it does not definitively say you are related to this individual. What it says is you have an affiliation. And that affiliation could be family, it could be a contract, it could be any type of affiliated agreement that you have with that person that's going to sign that contract. Then it also takes it a step further and say, define the material relationship. If you do have a relationship with or an affiliation with this person, are you going to get paid from this contract and so forth? So the Georgia Real Estate Commission just makes it more explicit.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Jefferson. Hold one second, Vice Chair. Mayor Pro Tem McKenzie, you can speak now.
Oh, yes, thank you. Attorney Wiley, thank you so much for putting this together. I did have one term that I would like to have included in this documentation, and that is disclosure. We don't have a definition, or we do not have disclosure, and I think that there's another thing that is vital if we're going to walk by an ethical code of conduct.
Yes, ma'am, that's certainly can be done. I would consider that a key term as well. So thank you for that. Disclosure, as we know, means from an ethical standpoint that, let's say, for example, you have a conflict of interest. And let me just say that there is nothing wrong with having a conflict of interest. People think there is. There's nothing wrong with having a conflict of interest, because you're all people who had lives and businesses and relationships before you took on this public role. So there is bound to be an instance where you run into a situation where it's a friend or not a friend, but a business partner or actually your a family member, and you have a conflict of interest. So that's nothing wrong with it. The problem with the conflicts of interest are when people do not disclose it and disclose that they have it, what it is, and then recuse themselves. So acting without that disclosure creates the problem. So if you take official action on something where you have a conflict of interest and you've not disclosed it, that is the problem. So I don't want anyone to think that people having conflicts of interest in and of itself is a bad thing. It is not. And in fact, the law encourages you to disclose it when you recognize it and recuse yourself, and that promotes transparency and open government and makes the public confident that the people who are representing them are doing the right thing.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Wiley. Hold on. Yes, Mr. Hooker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In light of the feedback, I would recommend that you allow us staff to bring this back to you at the next meeting instead of to try to whip something together this evening, if that's okay.
I think that.
Madam Chair, I move to.
Hold on. Do you have anything else to say? No. Okay, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, I move to table this pending staff updates until the next meeting.
Okay. Yes. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
I second, Mayor Pro Tem seconds.
Okay, Dr. Williams, second first. Any discussion? Me, no discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. The next thing we have is professional service agreement for legal services. Attorney Wiley has been working, as our attorney since March 1st. This agreement is exactly the same as our previous attorneys, but for the highlighted areas. Also, with that, we do not have to get an RFP for professional and legal services. So I hope that clears it up. And if anybody has anything else to say about that, I would like to entertain a motion.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, so this contract goes into December.
No, with this one, we're just gonna keep it continuing.
Okay.
She serves at the pleasure of the board.
Okay, I just remember talking about December. Okay, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Welcome, Attorney Wiley. Thank you for all the good works that you've done since you've been here and continue to do. Thank you.
Thank you, members of the board. I'm honored to serve you.
Yes.
Executive Director, I mean, and just me, and I'm okay, I'll figure it out. But somehow we got two-sided this time. So when I study, I usually like look at this page and look at that page. Is that some reason we went to two sides this time?
Mr. Vice Chairman, that would be my fault, but we were two-sided last time, and I looked at the last one to say, are we one-sided or two-sided? And it was two-sided, so I went two-sided. If it is your preference that we're one-sided going forward, Hannah, please note that,
Yes,
and it will be one-sided.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, well, thank you. Next up is the GICC golf course report, how to do business with the GICC. This item is presented by
Good evening, Madam Chair. Just to give you a slight update with the 2024-25 year to date for GICC, total revenue is 13.2, total expenses is 13.7. For the arena, total revenue is 6.3, the expense is 6.7. For the golf course, the revenue is $543,784. The expense is $576,105. So we're pretty much, for GICC, we're 74% of the adopted budget, 88% for the arena, and 70% for the golf course. Last month, we had a pretty good group in-house. We had Microsoft Global AI Tour, we had the Regional Summit, ThriftCon, and we had World Natural Hair. Over in the arena, we had the Black Prime, which turned out to be a great event. It was one of the first boxing events that we had over there, so it actually turned out pretty good. Last time I was questioning about how do we do business at GICC and the campus. So I got a short video that I would like to play, if that's possible.
Please.
Welcome to the Gateway Campus. My name is Giannis Bonner, the Interim Executive Director at the Gateway Campus, which we host 3 facilities here at the Gateway Campus. Located in College Park, it's the Georgia International Convention Center, which we host tons of events. Right now, we have 150,000 square feet of hall space, 40,000 square feet of ballroom space, 70,000 square feet of pre-function space. We're here for intimate events, corporate events, sporting competition, galas, expos, and more. Accommodation, accessibility, and convenience is one of the things that we strive here with hospitality.
Now come with us behind the scenes at the Gateway Campus. Just minutes away from Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport, you can reach the Gateway Campus by free SkyTrain, or you can drive and park for a flat rate fee in one of our parking lots. The Merriam-Webster definition of hospitality is the activity or businesses of providing services to guests in hotels, restaurants, bars, etc., or generous and friendly treatment of visitors and guests. Although we are a municipality, we are in the hospitality business. Hospitality should be caring, deliberate, proactive, and genuine. Event planners have so many venue choices to choose from, so when they choose the GICC, we must honor the trust they have placed in us to execute their event flawlessly. We have a responsibility to deliver a great product, great food, and great service every single time. A great experience means repeat customers, which will have a positive impact on our economic outlook. A person can be taught how to do a job, but you cannot teach someone to care. Hospitality is a gift to be shared with others. And it all begins with an inquiry. Once you've inquired about either the golf course, the Georgia International Convention Center, or the Gateway Center Arena, we will schedule a walkthrough and ensure that we can show you what we have to offer and see if it's in alignment with your event planner's needs. During walkthroughs, we are dedicated to making sure that you can see the vision of what you can achieve if you choose to have your event at the Gateway Campus. This looks like overturning every rock and stone to show the details that we put in to making every event perfect. And once all the paperwork has been settled, we're going to make sure that you have an event coordinator that goes above and beyond in making sure that your event goes off without a hitch. Event coordinators prioritize both client and visitors. We want to ensure that you have a memorable time when you visit the Gateway Campus and that you become a repeat customer. With that in mind, it's amazing to see how they transform a hall space into a place for community, diversity, and memories. Whether it's big or small, the Gateway Campus covers it all. But it's not just the events that make the Gateway Campus special, it's all of our people putting the hard work behind the scenes to make sure that every experience that you have at the Gateway Campus is an amazing one. We ensure a cleanly space every time you visit and also accommodations for your party so that everyone can enjoy the same view, the same amazing food, and the same great time. Making every experience at the Gateway a great one is not an effort that is taken lightly on our part. We have catering and banquet staff from proof of the pudding, helping from the top to the bottom of every event to make sure that we are representing the brand well, showing up for the clients, and keeping hospitality as our number one. Our banquet staff, no matter how high up on the admin chain, is always willing to help to make sure that every event goes off without a hitch, because they genuinely care about the client and ensuring amazing service here at Gateway.
This is our forks. This is our salad fork, our dinner fork, our dessert fork, and our knives.
Our amazing staff is part of what makes the Gateway so great. From lights to repairs to wiring and more, Building Services covers it all. They make sure that all 3 of our buildings stay up and running, whether it's for internal or external use, because they know that they are the glue that keeps the Gateway going. For the Gateway campus, prioritizing hospitality can look like checking every single mic in a room to make sure that there's no issues when a meeting starts. On event day, all paperwork has already been signed and settled, and we are executing with our event coordinator, who's going to make sure that we keep our aisles clear, make sure that we're maintaining safety protocol, which is why we also do have armed and unarmed security on premises, depending on each event's needs, and that event coordinator also makes sure that small or big, all issues are handled. Thank you to all of our workers, front and back of house, admin services, directors, managers, and coordinators who help make the Gateway so great.
The second hat that I wear at the Gateway campus is the Gateway Center Arena. Opened in 2019, 100,000 square feet of space with seating capacity up to 5,000. We are home of the Atlanta Dream, the WNBA basketball team. We also home of the Skyhawks, which is the G League team for the Atlanta Hawks. We also home of Love Bee Atlanta, which is our volleyball team. State-of-the-art lighting and sound system with amazing concession stands and vendor. The only thing missing is you.
At the Gateway Center Arena, you'll often run into staff that you might have seen at the Georgia International Convention Center or the College Park Historical Golf Course. This is because we are all under the Gateway umbrella. Here, you will see one of our Management Information Systems associates assisting to make sure that all equipment is working efficiently for an upcoming event. It is people like this behind the scenes that help make the Gateway so great. By ensuring that everything is set up prior to client arrival and ensuring that there is a help desk on site during an event in case any issues arise during the event.
Campus, we have our exclusive catering service, Proof of the Pudding, an award-winning gourmet food on the Gateway campus, even in our arena.
Gateway campus is grateful to be able to deliver high-quality food and service through Proof of the Pudding. With hospitality being our priority, we deliver high-quality food, fresh ingredients, and amazing service. Proof of the Pudding assists with this greatly and makes many hands give us light work. Our Proof staff arrive earlier than most to ensure the fresh ingredients are prepped for all of our events for that day. Now keep watching, and we're going to show you behind the scenes at Proof on how we make such amazing gourmet plates for the Georgia International Convention Center, Gateway Center Arena, and the historic College Park Golf Course. And once your event is booked, catering steps in. Selling food and beverage is not for the faint of heart. There's so much to discuss: the menu, the service style, whether buffet or plated, budget, dietary restrictions, wine selections, linen colors, centerpieces. This all happens in the back of a house with our culinary and kitchen, our banquets, stewarding, and operations. Now here's a quick look on what those plates look like being brought from our hot boxes and placed in front of guests at a major event. Whether we're dishing up fine quality concessions, catering your exhibit hall booth, or meeting, serving banquets large and small, each and every meal is mindfully prepared from bright, fresh, and in-season produce and ingredients. And this is just a snippet of what happens behind the scenes here at Gateway, so you can have an amazing event to remember.
The College Park Historical Golf Course, a 9-hole golf course located right here in the city of College Park. Now, the only thing is missing is you.
With tranquil views, 3 levels of expertise play, and 9 holes, the historic College Park Golf Course has been around since 1929 and is now a safe haven of community, learning, and great business. If a client wants to host their event at the historic College Park Golf Course, they are able to get Proof catering delivered. In addition to this, every first Wednesday, they can come in and play a game for $10, and every first and third Tuesday, visitors 55 and up can come in and play a $15 game of golf. Here at the historic College Park Golf Course, hospitality is still our main priority. We'll ensure that you have everything you need to get in a great game of golf, even if it's just a quick 9 holes during lunch.
I want to thank you for looking behind the scenes at the Gateway campus. I'm Giannis Bonner, the Interim Executive Director at the Gateway campus. Signing off.
I just want to give you a small view of what we do behind the scenes that make everything happen here, including this meeting here. So thank you.
Giannis, I tell you, I knew you wore some hats, but I didn't know you wore them many. But thank you for, for all that you do in making the GIC, the Gateway Arena, do the things that they do in our community. And that was great. Thank you. Anybody else have anything to say? Awesome. Okay, we're gonna move on. Next, we have the Atlanta Airport CID presentation and resolution. This presentation by Executive Director of the ATL Airport CIDs. And we're gonna allow Executive Director Brian to introduce.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Atlanta Airport CIDs, which stands for Community Improvement District, is a vital tool for economic development here in South Fulton and Clayton counties. The Atlanta Airport CIDs, notice it's plural, it's because it consists of two. The Airport West CID, which is in Fulton County, and the Airport South CID, which is in Clayton County. And we, BIDA, in the City of College Park, own properties in both counties. So in conversations with the Executive Director, Mr. McDowell, we determined that it would be great for BIDA to help uplift this effort by joining in. Most entities that join are property owners who agree to pay an extra property tax for the privilege of joining. Well, as BIDA is not taxed, we have the opportunity to gain the benefits of joining without necessarily having to pay. So we thought it'd be very important to bring that opportunity to this board to find out what the airport area CIDs are doing, or excuse me, Atlanta Airport CIDs are doing, and to encourage us, because staff recommends that we join. We think it would be a great benefit for the board, but we wanted you all to hear for yourselves and decide for yourselves. So with that, I'd like to introduce someone we've all met before, a great friend of mine, Mr. Gerald McDowell, Executive Director of the Atlanta Airport Community Improvement Districts. Mr. McDowell.
Thank you so much. And I have a little brochure here I want to provide to the members of the board, if you allow me.
Thank you.
I'll pass those around. You're good. For your presentation.
So just to give you some context, similar to how a city operates, we are not allowed to do anything outside of our district. So any program, any project that we do can only happen within the districts. And we have a full program of projects. And I have a couple examples I want to share with you. In our public safety program, we are now, in addition to having Fulton County officers patrol, they now patrol 66 hours a week. Again, these patrols only take place within the districts. We have supplemented our security patrols with license plate readers. We now have 91 license plate readers, and we have them around the district so that if you enter the district or you exit the district, we'll capture your license plate readers. And now we are also rolling out a new video surveillance application called Fuchsias. And what this does, it allows, if you are a property owner in the CID, we provide you a device that you connect to your network, and it allows us to connect your security cameras to the Fuchsia system. And in each city and county that the CIDs operate in, which includes Forest Park, Hateville, East Point, the city of Atlanta, the city of South Fulton, as well as College Park, and then as Mr. Hooker indicated, Fulton County and Clayton County. So in each one of those jurisdictions, we give access to each of those police departments. So if we have the Fuchsia system or the LPR operating on your property, we are sharing that with the police. And I can tell you in the last 12 to 15 months, the number of crimes that have been stopped and captured because of this technology is escalating by the day, by the week, and the crime activity is going down. The example I want to give to you, we had leadership from GICC come to us last year wanting to join the Fuchsia system so that every security camera you have at your convention center, at your arena, anywhere on your campus will become part of that system. We could not add that to the system because the property was not part of the CID's district. As part of the district, there will be no cost, but it will be additional security that would have been added. The same thing is true for our patrols. We attend meetings when there are events going on at the convention center or the arena. We coordinate with your police to make sure that our officers are supporting your police, but we can't come on campus because it's outside of our district. And I can just go on and on and on about the various things that we do that could absolutely benefit you if you were part of our district. If you look at this map is showing you in purple where the CID properties are located, and it's showing you in red where the BIDA-owned properties are located that is not part of the district. And then you see in gray, that those are tax-paying parcels that are not part of the CID.
Gerald, could hold on 1 second. Board members, excuse me, Madam Chair. You have that map in your packet, which you can open up and take a look at. And when you see the map, it's much clearer where the GICC is located on the map. So I'd invite each of you to look at your map. Oh, there it is. That's a little bit better. Thank you, Joe.
There you go. And so since your parcels are exempt, there is no financial obligation to allow your parcels to be part of the CID. And so I'm coming to you tonight asking if we could make all of your BIDA parcels part of the CID. And what that involves is us turning in the paperwork to Fulton County so that we can turn all the red purple. There's no financial obligation to you at all, but what it does do, it makes your BIDA properties part of the CID, so everything that we're doing can now come onto your campus. Also, what it does, if you notice, some of the gray parcels, we can't get to those parcels because each CID parcel that we add has to be connected to an existing one. And so by adding your GICC campus, we can get to all of those gray parcels, and we would have to go and talk to those individual property owners. They would have to consent to join the CID. And because they are taxable parcels, they will be paying into the CID, but it does not affect you at all. And so tonight, I wanted to come before you to say that we are, over the next 2 to 3 years, we have a number of projects and programs that are going to be rolling out. And some of these are transportation-related projects that's starting as early as this summer. And we would like to be able, if somebody, for example, decides to take a ride on one of our vehicles, we would like to be able to bring them to the GICC for an event. But since your parcel is outside of our district, we would have to drop them off somewhere in the purple, and then they would have to walk onto your campus, or we could just bring them to the door if you were part of the CID. Everything that we are doing would then become available to your campus at no cost to BIDA at all, and we are ready and primed to roll out our public safety program, our beautification program, as well as our transportation program to you. And so tonight, I wanted to bring this to your attention. We do have plans to start in June or July timeframe to start reaching out to each one of those parcels, those property owners as represented by the parcels that are gray. And it would go a long way if we can change this red to purple so that when we show them the map, we can show them that the campus is all in, and we can have a better conversation with them as well. With that, I'll pause and see if there are any questions.
Do we have any questions?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay, I think Dr. Williams had her hand first. Can I ask all of them? No, not all of them. No.
Mr. McDowell, thank you.
Yes.
I'm Dr. Lethea Williams, and I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
The first thing I want to ask is, since you're offering this at no cost to BIDA, would it be forever? Is there a time limit on this free access?
No, so any exempt parcel that is part of the CID will not make any financial contribution as long as it's exempt. As soon as it become a taxable parcel, that's when financial obligations will kick in. But as long as it's exempt, no, there's no sunset. I mean, there is no time limit of when this offer expires, as long as the property is exempt. And we have other exempt parcels as part of the CID for the same reason, where we needed to get to some parcels that we couldn't get to otherwise. But as long as it's exempt, no, nothing will be required from a financial obligation.
All right, thank you. And I wanted to also ask about the actual resolution. Can I get to that? Is that okay?
Yes, I think you can.
Okay. So I read through it and I have a couple of questions. There is the option to connect the pilot automated transit network to the SkyTrain. What's the route? Like what parts of the city will this, the employees have access to in order to get on board this automated transit network?
So here is the alignment that will be on your campus. So this project, the ATN, Automated Transit Network project, this is under an agreement between MARTA, Fulton County, Clayton County, the City of College Park, Airport West, and Airport South. That agreement was executed back in 2023. And so then this alignment was finalized after there was a walkthrough on the campus between the GICC leadership, your city engineer, and others from your project teams. This was finalized. This is a demonstration project. So this is not a live service that will be operating outside of this route that you see here. There will be a station built right outside of the SkyTrain. It does not connect to the SkyTrain system itself. It will be a separate line altogether. So someone would say, for example, walk out of the SkyTrain station and come to the docking station for the ATN, and then they will simply ride it around this alignment that you see here right outside of your parking lot. The objective is this is a demonstration project. It will be a 2-year project that we have awarded to the project team, and it's the number one objective is to demonstrate the technology and it is for MARTA and other transit agencies to determine if this technology is feasible to then expand through other areas, hopefully around the airport, around South Metro, and anywhere else that MARTA serves.
Okay.
But for now, this is a CID project that is only limited to the campus as the alignment that you see here, and is only for demonstration purposes.
Okay, and my last question, because I think I heard you say you expected to come on board in June. Is that what you said, or sometime?
This project?
No, the entire allowing BIDA to be part of the AACD, and then whatever project. Yes.
Okay. Yes. It will become part of an expansion effort by the CID, and we have to turn that into the Fulton County by the end of the year, and so this would officially be part of the CID starting January 1, 2026, right? So our expansion will have to go before the Fulton Board of Assessors, and that normally takes place in November or December each year. And once that approval takes place, then it becomes effective on January 1st of the following year, right? But as soon as we have your consent that this property, your property would become part of the CID, we will change our map so that as we go and start talking to others, we will let them know that this is in motion, and we would explain to them that it will be effective January 1st, 2026. Just like the gray parcels that you see there. If they should decide to join the CID, it will become effective on January 1st, 2026, as part of an expansion effort.
Okay.
I'm sorry, let me stand corrected. That's for Fulton County. No, that is also true for Clayton County, although the deadline in Clayton County is the end of March of 2026. But in both cases, it will be effective in the calendar year 2026, in both cases.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Thank you,
Dr.
Dr.
Williams.
Anyone else? Okay, Ms. Okay, you should go first. Okay, Ms. Jefferson?
Thank you for your presentation. I have 3 questions. First question is, will there be any restrictions on the current developed BIDA properties? The second question is, where is because this is you said that the CID is for 2 years? Where is...
This project, the ATN?
Yes, the ATN, yes. So where is the control hub for this project?
The control hub?
Yes,
Okay.
since you're gonna have centralized security. And then my third question is, what are we just granting access for the GICC and the Gateway Arena? And then I think you mentioned that you would need permission from the other properties that are already developed?
That's correct.
Okay.
So anything that is red is what I'm referring to for BIDA. And then what you see listed as gray, those are private property owners that are taxable property owners. We have to get the consent from the individual property owner. So you're not committing those parcels, the ones that you see listed as gray, only what you see listed as red.
Okay.
Because everything that is red is exempt.
Okay,
Yes.
got it. And then adjacent to the first question, any restrictions, do you foresee this project including parking at all, or any type of access to our parking?
No.
Okay.
So in terms of your first question, by having your GICC campus part of the district, there will be no obligations tied to your membership of the CID. There will be nothing, there is absolutely nothing that we could do to interfere with your operations now as an authority, even as a city. We don't have that authority to make any changes. As a matter of fact, that's the reason why we have to go to mayor and council, because we don't own any dirt, we don't own any parcels. So even if we wanted to cut grass, we have to have an agreement, and we do have that agreement with the city that allows us to come and cut grass. So we can't just independently do anything, infringe upon any real property. It does not change anything. For the parcels that are taxable, the only thing that it does is it places another taxable entity on that parcel. So as that property pays property tax to the county, to the city, to the hospital authority, to education, it will be now obligated, if it becomes part of the CID, and I'm speaking about the gray parcels, it will be then obligated to pay property tax to the CID.
Got it.
That's the only obligation. It has to do with taxable property revenue.
Okay.
Nothing else changes, and there's no interference whatsoever.
Okay.
And we, as a CID, we have a board of directors, and so any action that the CID would do has to be approved by the board of directors, and the board of directors are property owners themselves.
Exactly. And then where's the control hub?
So at the top there, in I believe it's the yellow box that you see at the top, there will be a maintenance facility. So all of the vehicles will be stored in that maintenance facility in a secured maintenance facility when they're not operational.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's part of the project.
That's not in College Park though, but that's in Atlanta?
That's on your campus.
Oh, it is in College Park?
Yeah,
Oh, it is.
that's your
Oh, okay.
campus. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the GICC campus, what you're looking, that's the parking lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yep.
Got it.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Thank
Jefferson.
you.
Okay, Vice Chair.
So I think Councilmember Jefferson
You keep saying
got, I'm sorry. I think Board Member Jefferson ask a couple of questions I was trying to ask, but can I get like the short answer with all the detail if I ask the same question she asked? 'Cause
Absolutely.
she went where I was going. Okay. But you was going, so if I ask the same question, give me the short answer, not all the detail.
Okay.
Okay. So, first of all, I thought we was here to approve land, put our land into the CID, right? The camp put this land into the CID, right?
There's no approval that you have to offer. What you are agreeing to is that when we turn in the report to Fulton County,
Right.
that we include
Exactly.
your
That's what I'm
property
saying.
as part of the CID.
Right. Okay. So that's what I thought we should do. I wasn't aware until I read the packet that it had something to do with the ATN.
No. So there were two updates that I was providing, and based on the question that Dr. Williams answered, asked, I just combined the two. This second part was an FYI, was just to inform you about this project, but there was no action on your part.
On the ATN.
On the ATN, no. There's no action on your part.
Okay. All right. So we're back to this. So because I was going to say, for me, I'm not touching that until I know council has approved it.
Correct. Right. This has nothing to do with for your board.
Okay. So she talked about the property that's already, the buildings and structures already in the orange, right?
Yes.
The hotels, whatever. So you're saying if we put this land into CID, that you can't go back and tax these hotels?
Oh, no.
Okay. So the land that is vacant, any vacant land inside this district, if a new developer comes on to develop, are they gonna have to pay that tax?
If it becomes if an exempt, the only way you pay taxes if an exempt property becomes taxable.
I understand.
That's the only way. But if it remains exempt, no.
But if it doesn't, that means that new business gonna have to pay taxes.
Yes.
So I guess one of my concerns, no, let me just say this, so I don't have a problem with it, but I'm just trying to make sure some questions are answered.
Yes, sir.
For me, would that be some kind of cumbersome or cause some new developer some concerns that he's not gonna pay a tax in this district that nobody else have to pay?
Oh, no, that is not uncommon. That it happens all the time. So if you have an exempt property that's part of an assembled property, and one of those parcels becomes taxable, that means that one parcel now is paying property taxes while the other exempt parcels are not. We have other examples of that happening throughout the district.
Because I just think in the future, we may do some deals where we don't do the finance or whatever, so those business may not be exempt. So I'm just concerned about us putting an extra burden on a possible developer. But we ain't gotta go deep. I just think that's concerned. So you said that they had to be contiguous, but I see a little purple square that's not contiguous with anything. Explain that to me.
I'm sorry?
I don't know. You said in order to get to the gray, you had to be contiguous.
Yes, sir.
But there's a purple little square, rectangle, whatever, that's not contiguous with the other purple. How did that get there?
I would have to go back and look at the actual layout, the street layout, but there are ways you can use right-of-way to connect a parcel. And so the only way that could have happened if there was a allowable connection such as a right-of-way to allow that to happen. There is absolutely no way Fulton County would have approved that unless we satisfy that requirement.
Okay,
Yeah, so the map that you see here was approved by Fulton County.
I get it. I
Right.
understand it. I'm just, so to answer my question is maybe there's a road to go there.
Yes, sir.
Because your statement earlier was it had to be contiguous. So that's clearly not contiguous except for maybe through a road.
Yes, and that's why the other ones are not.
Okay, I just saw it. Okay, as long as we're not making it, because the resolution or whatever this thing talks a lot about the ATN system. The resolution that we want the chair to sign. So I'm just concerned about that being in something that we're only talking about property But the ATN is just about every designated number. But I have a problem with, we got members of council here, so I'm saying, if we approve, I want council to speak up because I'm not gonna vote for this unless I know council, mayor and council has said, put that thing over there. That's just me.
Right. So the agreement that I alluded to earlier, that agreement covered those obligations.
Okay, Councilman Carnes, you want to weigh in?
And just real quick, yeah, we approved that agreement for the ATN. This is showcase technology with MARTA, a multi-million-dollar pilot project. And out of the 15 cities in Fulton County, county commissioners chose College Park to showcase this because of the exposure it would get along Camp Creek Parkway. And it shows that we are a city of the future, that we're a travel-friendly city. So we were glad to have the technology. And Councilman Wyatt, Vice Chair Wyatt, I understand your concern about some of the hotels that are exempt, and then others saying, well, hey, it's a bit of fairness. Now, technically speaking, the Marriott Renaissance and the Spring Hill, technically speaking, they're still exempt because technically we still own them for the next 26 years till they pay off their pilot payments, and then that balloon. In 26 years, they go back on the tax rolls, and then they have to start paying CID just like any other hotel. So eventually, they go back to us not owning them at some point. So,
but I don't think we did that with Vilas Patel Hotel, did we?
We did not.
So that was my question earlier. And now is that hotel going to have to pay that tax? Because
no,
it's not.
It's a CID tax is an option if they want to pay it or not.
Okay, I just want to make sure we didn't. Okay.
Explain. They're not forced to pay it.
No. Oh, so that's a very good point. So if that does happen, and you have one of those gray areas, they have to. The property owner has to agree to pay.
That's not that.
Yes.
You cleared me up.
Otherwise, they
I
don't
just
pay
want
it
to make
down.
sure us doing it didn't automatically.
Oh no.
Obligate them.
No, not at all.
Then I'm good. Okay.
No.
Okay, great. Anyone else? Well, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. You sure? Okay. Mayor
I think,
Motley
thank you, ma'am. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Development Authority and for anyone that might come later on who wishes to purchase some of the property that the Development Authority holds. They do so with the full understanding that we're a member of the CID and respond accordingly.
That's right.
So that all factors into the decision-making process and the negotiation process if that comes to pass. And I do think for the overall economic health of the region, I think it's an enticing prospect for those gray boxes that sit within our larger red box, that they can be members of the CID and benefit from that membership. So it at least gives them the opportunity to do so. If they choose not to, that's on them. But at least they have an opportunity.
And to the mayor's comments, I would just add, there was a study, and I'll be happy to get you a copy of it. There was a study done by Georgia Tech that actually shows the opposite, that developers and investors are attracted to parcels that are part of a community improvement district. And because they know all the benefits and the values that comes from being a part of a CID. And one thing for sure, we will, as soon as you guys give us the green light, we will start talking to our public safety folks to make sure that we incorporate your campus in everything that we're doing. We don't need to wait for January 1st to do that.
Well, it sounds like there's good consensus, so don't talk yourself out of it now.
Okay, hold 1 second. Okay.
I'll just respond to
Who went
Mr.
first?
Riddell.
Oh, go ahead.
Because I want to be clear. I wasn't saying that it was a negative for.
Oh, no,
a
I was
developer. When
piggybacking
you said
on
it
what
was
you
the
said.
opposite.
To what he said.
Oh, okay. Because I want to be clear that they would just go in knowing that they would
Absolutely.
be a member of the CID.
Yes,
and
yes.
they would respond accordingly. But
Correct.
I wasn't saying that it would be a negative
No,
or
no,
a
not
drawback to purchasing the property.
No,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Jefferson.
Yes, one last question. With our membership, does that include any follow-up reporting that we could receive on a monthly basis on how this benefits our area, or do you guys provide any type of follow-up reporting?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We will add you to our distribution list, and so when our newsletters come out monthly, you will get a copy of the newsletter. We have the annual report from 2024. I'll get that to Mr. Hooker to make sure that you all can receive a copy of the annual report. And going forward, any kind of reporting that we push out, you absolutely will be receiving those. I'll make sure that Mr. Hooker is part of our distribution.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to come.
We have one more question from
You mentioned the board of directors. How would BIDA, the board members of BIDA, become or eligible, any one or more could become eligible to be on the board of directors? What's the criteria, since we'll be a major property owner within that, within the CID? Or is that something that's prescribed by some other rules other than just having property that you own within the CID?
No, so there are 5 board seats that are elected to I think it's 3-year terms. I believe it's 3-year terms. It may be 4, but 3-year terms. When those elections come up, any property owner in the district can run for those board seats. And then each jurisdiction that our district is a part of that jurisdiction, they can select a property owner to be on the board as well. So those are the 2 pathways for a property owner becoming a member of the board, either by election or by appointment of one of the jurisdictions. And like you, we have to advertise. So when a board seat is up for election, we have to advertise in the legal organ, and so you will be notified when those seats are up for election, and any property owner can run for one of those seats to be elected to those seats. And if you want any additional information, just reach out to me.
I
can
will,
get
but we
that
would
to you.
get information through the distribution.
Yes,
that you
yes,
provide,
you certainly
not just
will.
the legal organ.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Next, we'll have the executive, do we need to do the motion?
No, that's what he's gonna talk about now. He's gonna present the resolution.
Okay. Okay, hey, Brian, could you talk about the resolution?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So next for your consideration is a motion to adopt the resolution that's in your packet that is of the College Park Business and Industrial Development Authority, formally approving membership of certain designated properties in the ATL Airport Community Improvement Districts. To affirm the intent to join, to appropriately join the AACID, and to provide for administrative implementation of such membership, and for any and all purposes allowed by law. You have the whereas clauses that have been summarized by the conversation you've had with the executive director of the CIDs. So now therefore be it resolved by BIDA. Number 1, approval of membership. BIDA hereby approves and consents to its membership in the ATL Airport Community Improvement Districts. Number 2, designation of parcels. BIDA designates and intends that the parcels identified in Exhibit A1 be included in the appropriate CID within the Atlanta Airport CIDs, whether the Airport West CID or the Airport South CID as determined by parcel location. Number 3, authorization to act. The chairperson is hereby authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate this membership and to take all further steps necessary, all further steps and as necessary to implement this resolution. And 4, integration with the CID plans. BIDA supports the implementation of the AACID transportation and infrastructure initiatives within its properties, including but not limited to participation in pilot demonstration projects such as the ATN system described in Exhibit B. Effective date, this resolution will take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Okay,
So moved.
do I have a second? Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. Parker. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Congratulations and thank you.
Just make sure I get a copy of that resolution. That's all we need. All right, thank you. You guys have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Next, we have the executive director report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In your package, you see a budget performance report. Today, this is the Executive Director report. This is how BIDA is doing on its fiscal year 25 budget through the end of April. So you can feel free to take a look at that. There's nothing in particular to highlight, and so I will pause and be open for any questions you may have.
Okay, any questions?
Yes, Madam Chair. And
Yes,
just a statement, I don't want
Vice
to get
Chair.
deep into it, but I see the legal fees are 164%. So we have really way over in our legal fees. So I don't, just an observation.
Let me be clear, those are not my fees. I just want them for the record, those occur
just-
prior to me.
I just want
I just want it for the record.
I just don't know
That
how-
is not mine, that's not me.
I just hope that our Secretary Treasurer or BIDA would take a look at that and work with Executive Director and figure out, we need to just monitor that. That's all I have.
Anyone else have questions?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Jefferson?
My question is, hold on, I'm just, I didn't get a chance to get this far. So with the budget review meetings that have been had, are there any summaries on what changes are to come from this budget?
Yes, there have been, since the budget review, there have been no changes requested for the BIDA budget. For the non-revenue generating budgets within the general fund, the finance director requested that all those be cut by 4% because BIDA is a self-balancing budget and generating revenue. It wouldn't have mattered to cut 4% because then you just cut 4% from the contingent revenues. So there were no changes made since the hearings.
Well, I thought that we had established from our last meeting that we were going to increase our marketing because we needed that, you know.
We weren't able to do that.
Interesting. Okay, and I guess my second question is.
Well, I'm sorry, but I will say the budget that went to the hearing was more than double last year's budget. We weren't able to increase it any further, but it is more than double the fiscal 25 budget for marketing.
Okay, gotcha. But I thought that our marketing budget, we were under because we had new initiatives. I thought that we were over our budget for marketing.
Yes, we exhausted our marketing
Yeah.
budget but we still have some more marketing to do in this fiscal year. So we have requested a transfer of additional funds into marketing to effectuate the first step of the East of Maine project that you saw presented at last month's meeting.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
we
what I
are,
wanted
we
to
are,
mention. Okay.
we are moving
So-
forward.
Okay, gotcha.
With that.
And then I know that there was questions that came up in regards to our stipend from last year. Our budget for our stipend was increased, but that wasn't reflected in our payout.
So we looked into that. We discovered that council passed the increase to $150 per meeting. We discovered that the fiscal 25 budget reflected that $150 a meeting. And we looked into the actual payouts that took place. And Hannah, you did confirm that the payouts aligned with the $150 amount?
Yes.
Yes. So we looked into that as well. So so council has set BIDA above the others at 150.
Okay.
And the checks that Sabritha oversaw being issued in December, January, whenever she issued those, they did reflect the increased amount.
I think we want to double check that
Yes.
by each meeting, because it's definitely not. It was calculated at $75 per meeting.
I will double check that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, Brian. Next, insurance.
Dr. Williams, your question about insurance is really, really timely. We have been having discussions about that over the course of the past 2 weeks. The executive director and I, and involving Chris Wilson, who is the risk management official for the city of College Park. It is true that BIDA you individually as board members should have coverage so that you won't suffer any personal liability for any negligence claims that come about as a result of the use of the center, the GICC. I understand that the city has BIDA listed as a DBA, or is generally covered under the city, under its boards, commissions, and other designated entities, but BIDA is not specifically named as a legal entity. And Chris Wilson has suggested that BIDA consider getting its own policy in its own name as a possible way to eliminate any kind of confusion that BIDA is a component unit of the city, but it is a separate and legally distinct entity that might fare better having its own insurance. I briefly spoke to Dr. A about that right before the meeting, and he is amenable to making that happen. I don't know what that cost would be. Chris gave me a roundabout guesstimate based on his professional experience, and he said about $7,000 annually, he estimated. But let me just generally say that when no one would serve on any public board if they thought that they could be individually sued or become individually liable, personally liable for doing public service. And so it is customary to have insurance for the board members to protect you, your professional insurance, as well as any liability claims that could result from negligence or even intentional acts under some instances. And so we have been looking at that. We have an application that was sent to the executive director, I guess earlier this week, an insurance application that Chris Wilson sent. It's directors and officers liability insurance application form. And so that, if authorized by this board to have the executive director, city manager work with the insurance risk person who works under Dr. A, they could possibly get some quotes and bring that back to the board and get a policy that's comprehensive and perhaps separate and distinct from the cities.
Okay, Dr. Williams. Mr. Hooker, back to the budget. Based on the estimate that's out there for insurance for BIDA, can we afford within the budget to have insurance for BIDA?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
I guess
Ms. Jefferson.
my question would be, why wouldn't BIDA be covered under the umbrella policy that would be for the city if GICC in the Gateway Arena is covered? Why do BIDA members need a separate policy?
Well, we can talk. I think there's a circumstance that arose that made this question come to light that we're going to discuss in executive session, and that might fill in that gap. And it's how the insurance company interprets whether BIDA is a named insured, whether the members of BIDA are named insureds. It's all in the insurance interpretation. So to alleviate any type of ambiguity, Mr. Wilson, who is good at what he does, he suggests, and I agree actually, but it's a policy decision in this body, that BIDA should have its own, so there's no doubt and no ambiguity about whether BIDA and its officers and directors are covered.
Madam Attorney, if I may add,
Okay, Mr. Hooker.
the GICC has a separate insurance policy.
Yeah.
And so what we're actually talking about is BIDA itself outside of the GICC. GICC already has a separate insurance policy. BIDA, as a constitutionally created development authority, is not quite the same as a city planning commission or any of the other city boards that are referenced as covered in the city's insurance policy. So there's concern that there could be a gap there. So that's why the insurance broker and our risk management person are both begging for BIDA to get its own separate insurance policy because of its status as a constitutional authority. It's not the same as the Planning Commission or the BZA or any one of those city committees that are clearly covered under the language that's in the city's insurance policy. BIDA's could potentially be in a gray area, and if a claim were to come up and fall in that gray area, the risk management person is saying there's some concern there. So that's why he's made that recommendation that we get our own policy because of our nature as a constitutionally created authority.
And what type of policy is it? Is a directors and officers liability.
You turned off your mic, ma'am. Would you turn it back on?
I'm sorry. It is a directors and officers liability insurance application form. So each of you will be covered in your position here, and we fill it out, send it in, get the quote back, and look at the coverage that's going to be provided. You all, it would just protect each individual board member from any personal liability if someone made a claim.
I'd also like to add, Madam Chair, that the board has another option other than asking us to get quotes and come back to the board with the insurance, with the expectations that the cost would be underneath the city manager's signing authority. The board could just direct the city manager to pursue that and report back. So that's a choice that you could make.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Would you all like to make any, just any suggestions as to how you would like us to move forward?
Well, I guess I would like to understand, what do we currently have? What is our current insurance policy? And then how this policy will differ from.
So my understanding, Madam, what we currently have is the city has a general insurance policy where BIDA is not a named insured as a separate entity, but the city's insurance policy references boards and officers and others as being covered under its insurance policy. It's kind of generic. Separately, there's an insurance policy for the GICC itself that includes the GICC, the Gateway Arena, and the golf course. So that separate insurance policy exists. And what we talk about later on, the claim, we are fortunate to have that because it's clear. So what's missing is, so technically, some would argue that we are fully covered because some argue that we are a board of the city.
Yeah.
The constitutional charter describes us differently. And someone looking to make a claim could easily use that to say we are not a board of the city. So the objective is to belt and suspenders. For the low price of $7,000 a year, we fill that gap.
And let me also tag on to what Brian just said. When he said some may argue that we are, you have insurance companies who could argue that we're not. And so therein lies the rub, because ultimately the insurance company says, we don't think y'all are covered. This general phrase in the city's insurance policy doesn't apply to you as a separately created, constitutionally operating entity. And so there's that gap. Now, we could ask the city to add us as a named insured specifically. I'm not sure if it will be, I don't know what the cost analysis would be. That's way above my pay grade. But perhaps by the June meeting, we can have something more substantive for you. And I think after we go into executive session, it'll clear up a lot of the gaps that we're talking around issues and not specifically addressing in public session.
And you know, the cost is not a factor, you know, for me. I know it's very minimal, but I just want us to remain cognizant of our spending. And we know we have had lawsuits
in the past, and BIDA members have been named on those lawsuits as part of the Gateway Arena and so forth. So I would like to know, how was that handled? Because obviously we were covered and we had enough coverage under the city to be handled. So I just want us to, I get it, but I just want us to, you know, weigh our options and see what's more affordable, to go under an umbrella of a city policy or create this separate policy that, I mean, I don't know what significance it could, you know, cover for that amount, but I just would like for us to understand what our options are before agreeing to sign on with an insurer.
Well, we certainly can bring back more substantive information at the June meeting to answer some of those very good questions. I think it is a recommendation, regardless of which way you all go, I think there should be some clarity as to BIDA being a named insured under either the city's policy or under its own separately obtained policy to protect this body.
Okay, Chair Wyatt.
Last time, so I'm okay with exploring options, but I think what I'm hearing from the executive director, I think what I'm hearing from our attorney is that their discussion with folks says that it might be prudent that we get our own. And so I'm going to rely on the attorney and the executive director who has those contacts. I think I'm going to follow that recommendation.
Okay, Mr. Hooker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board Member Jefferson?
Hold 1 second. I think we had,
Madam Mayor.
Mayor Molly Brown first.
Sometimes, Madam Chair, insurance coverage disputes can cost far more than the coverage, the premiums for coverage. So I think in order to avoid ambiguity, to protect this board as a body and the individuals, this is clearly the way we should go, in my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Board Member Jefferson, earlier you brought up some previous litigation against us. Again, the GICC has a separate policy, so we were fine.
Exactly.
So the concern is, as there are calls for us to accelerate development in the rest of 6 West, in the trust-related parcels, we did the East of Maine presentation, and we're going to start having more and more people go through those. Having work done on the Price Barbershop, all the properties that BIDA owns, if there were to be an incident in any of those properties with this increased activity, we don't have a GICC protection. We go into the gray area. So that is what we're attempting to avoid.
Yeah, and that's my concern with the city being under the city's umbrella policy. If the other boards are under the city's umbrella policy, what is the difference in us doing this separate policy versus being added to the city's umbrella policy?
So
let me take a stab at that.
Okay,
none of the planning commission and they don't own property. They can't enter into contracts exclusive of the city. They're not a legal entity, so they can't be named in a lawsuit like you are. You are a legally distinct entity. I mean, and those other boards are unofficial appointees of the city council, and they work directly through the city council, and they don't have nearly the amount of authority that you all have based upon your constitutional status. So that is the biggest difference.
No, and that's what I do understand. But what I'm saying to you is, if the city is already carrying an umbrella policy for boards that they don't necessarily have to pay out for, but we, because of our land ownership, we need to be added. I'm saying, what is the difference? Is there an opportunity to have that option if we go under the city's umbrella policy as a separate board versus this policy? I think that here's what I'm saying. I just think that when it comes to finances and it comes to these expenditures, we should have as much information before us as a board as possible in order for us to make, a decision. I get it, it's $7,000, but we still haven't got into what does it cover? What are the limitations? What are the restrictions? What's the difference between the umbrella policy and this one? If we are going to be engaged as members and make financial decisions concerning this board, we should have as much information as possible in front of us to make that judgment call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Mayor Pro Tem. I'm sorry. Call you, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Slip of the tongue.
Mayor Motley Brewer, I apologize.
Slip of the tongue.
I don't know that it's in the best interest of the city to name BIDA as an additional insured. So that would be something that we would have to, wearing another hat, discuss and flesh out. As a separate legal entity, BIDA should have its own insurance, in my opinion.
And also with respect to the BIDA-owned property, so you will have, I can see the insurance company, I'm just saying, why would the city doesn't own this property? That would be like the city's insurance, because I'm your BIDA attorney. The city doesn't own that property, so why would the insurance company could say, we're not covering that. We cover properties owned by the city, the governing authority, not this other entity. So you're on your own. And that's really what it is, because really the insurance company can dictate what needs to be done. And
I do get that, but we remain cognizant with our charter and the way our financial agreement is set up with the city as being that conduit. I don't know what the city council, what their information or what they have gathered, we're not getting that here. We're not, I get it that we are a separate entity and we need our own separate insurance company, but we also have to keep cognizant we are a conduit and our budget is maintained by the city. And the city council maintains our financial approval. So we all I'm saying is if we're gonna do this, which I think is definitely pertinent, it's necessary, but let's do it the right way. And let's just have balance between the city, mayor, and city council and us, because we need to understand, our options, what we currently have and what we don't.
Okay, well, thank you. And I'm in agreement. I think we should have insurance as a board.
So, Madam Chair, I
Vice Chair.
don't know if a motion is in order or not, but if it is, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the recommendation of the executive director and the city attorney, BIDA attorney, that they go ahead and explore BIDA separate insurance. And if it's under $10,000, recommend that the city manager go ahead and have the final say so. That'll be my motion if a motion is in order.
Yes, a motion.
Mayor Pro Tem seconds that motion.
Okay, we have a second by Mayor Pro Tem McKenzie. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Oppose.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries. And before we go into executive session, I'm just compelled to say thank you, the loss of my granddaughter last month. Thank you, for all of the support, love that was shown to my family. The other thing I wanted to say is that today I'm just honored to have my son here, Lieutenant Rex Willis Jr. He's a product of our community. As a young child, his first time at doing organized sports was here in the city of College Park with the College Park Jetters. And at a very young age, he exemplified qualities beyond his age. At the age of 8 years old, he ran like the fastest 800-meter, broke records. I think I almost ran here like a world record when he was 8 years old, but he had the eye of the tiger. And with that, he has continued to thrive beyond measures. And that was one of the reasons when back in 2000, 2004, we started doing work in the community with track and field, because our kids, we used to have to travel over 30 minutes. We went to Fed Christian School. Let me tell my story, because I want to say it, because I think it's very relevant, even with economic development, workforce development. But we used to travel. We had 8 kids, and we sent all of them to private school. And it wasn't easy. It was a sacrifice beyond our means. I think at the last council meeting I spoke about, my first job was at the Atlanta Airport Marriott. And I worked, it was medial, but it never was beneath me. Because I've always, one thing I could say, that I've always been a hard worker. I worked hard. And that was my first job. When I look back, I'm like, it was City of College Park. You know, that's where I started. And raised my family, 8 kids, and traveling down that road, because we have a national, worldwide school here with Woodward here. But it was beyond our means. So we did something different, because we had to make sure that our kids had the best opportunity to be successful. So those are the sacrifices that me and my husband made. And with that, we were able to see that the equitable, how many kids that are in our community, not only back in the 80s, but even now, do not have a lot of access opportunities to have those doors open to them. And when we went outside to see those things, we were like, look what they have, look what they have, look what they have. We don't have that here, you know, and we were like, hey, we gotta come back, we gotta do something in our community. But even though we kept working hard and still doing the traveling, we wanted to bring something here to the City of College Park. And I can say it's been a long journey, and the City of College Park has always supported us, because we gave back. It was volunteer. We used our own resources, and I think they saw that even when Councilman Wyatt was there, Mayor Longino, the work that we put in. Many of all my kids, all of them, national champions, over and over and over again. And we traveled, but we came back to our own community, and we started a program where we helped kids within our own community to thrive. Why not? We brought programs that were in other communities to the City of College Park. And with that, all of those kids that have gone through, I mean, I can say now probably literally thousands of kids have come through that program. We didn't only give our kids the opportunity, but we gave thousands of other kids, and kids now still coming out of college and doing great things. But this young man, I tell you, last year this time we were at Harvard, and one thing I think he can look back and he can say his family took over the Harvard, you know, and they could say, hey, that's RJ's family, you know, that's RJ's family. And my son graduated, top of his class at Harvard, and graduated from United States Naval Academy, top of his class. He's a product of the City of College Park. And every time he says the City of College Park. But after graduation, we're on the yard. My son brought a young lady up to me who had graduated with him. And my son had spoke about his community, and he spoke about his family, and he spoke about me in particular. And he touched this young lady. He brought her right to me. It's just amazing. They holding, you know, their diplomas and everything. And he said, Mom, she wanted to meet you. What was her name? Because I'd like to say it. Nissan? Nissan. I can't even. She wanted to meet me. Like, who is this young, you know, because he spoke about his community and his family and his mom. And she said she had to show much love because she was just so impressed with him. But this is the quality of programming that we have always tried to instill, not only in our children, but so many other children. But when I see my son now, he's getting ready to go back and to serve his country in the next couple of weeks. But when he comes back to College Park. He comes back, he utilizes the facilities here in College Park. This is home. This is his home base. And I look at my community now, the give back. I watched Mr. Barner do those many hats. And a lot of people really probably don't know really who I am. I'm probably one of the most hardest working people here in the city of College Park, and I don't take it for granted. I serve. And the reason that I've been able to serve, because I had kids who always stood beside me, husbands standing beside me, opening those doors for others. Didn't get paid. There are a lot of things that I did. A lot of people, no, I did it out of my heart. And with that, I want to say this because many people ask me all the time, hey, come do programming in their communities. But my heart is here. This is where I'm vested. This is where my family is vested. And back in 2010, I brought a proposal for College Park to be one of the most playful cities. That's economic development. That's putting eyes on our city. And they're like, oh, well, you know, they're kind of in and out. But I believe, and my family believes. And with that, in 2016, we did our first Kaboom playground. And we did it with Forrester. And my partner, I always say, I want to sit at College Park. I'm gonna bring the people who've been behind our community, behind our youth. I'm bringing them with me. Next thing you know, I built a relationship. And I can remember saying, hey, they come back to some, hey, Sabrina, where you want to build another playground? I said, I don't know, but I know I want to do one. And I come back to my community. And I said, okay, the AKAs say, hey, we're coming, we're doing our boule, we want to come to College Park. We built our second Kaboom playground at the Tracy White Recreation Center. We brought AKAs from all around the globe here to College Park to build that playground. Then another opportunity came, another fast-moving opportunity came. And I'm like, I can remember bringing my daughter, Alexis, and Alexis graduated from the, I'm gonna say this too, these are my babies, from the Coast Guard Academy. She's now in Corpus Christi and getting ready to be promoted to lieutenant. And I'm very, very proud of her. But before she left, I started riding around College Park. Where would be a good fit to do a playground? And I can remember she and I going down Camp Creek Parkway. And it was grassy area, undeveloped, none but trees. And it was a nice grassy area. But it was in front of a set of apartments where kids have been underserved, no playground. They were playing out in the parking lot. And I'm like, hey, we're gonna do a playground right here. And I took that opportunity back to Kaboom. And we got a playground on Camp Creek Parkway. But during that time of that building, I actually broke my ankle. And the day of the build, I was in a wheelchair with my foot up. And this is a true story. And I can remember my sister Tanya, who's no longer with me, she was one of my best supporters. She drove me, and I'm like, you know, I'm used to working. And I got there, and she put me, I'm in the wheelchair, and leg kicked up. But when I tell you, volunteers started pouring in. And we did that one with Target. But they came in, and they did the work. And our city, you know, got behind us. And we built that playground. And I thank God, you know, I didn't ever know that that playground would one day be named after myself. And I'm thankful and grateful. But that playground is on Camp Creek Parkway and going towards the busiest airport in the world. But recently, I tried to do another one, and they really wanted to do one, but we weren't quite ready. So another opportunity has come upon our city and to partner with the city of College Park to do another Kaboom playground. And you never know who the funder or the person behind that opportunity is. You just do the work, and you try to find out the perfect place. And we have another underserved community that needs a playground. Playground was broken equipment, but they say, hey, let's do it. And when I found out the funder of this program, I'm like, you know what, College Park, we're getting it right. Delta Airlines, their worldwide sales team, is coming to College Park to build a Kaboom playground. Next week, May 20th, we will see another playground built in just a couple of hours. So I'm excited. This is me as a citizen. This is not me because I want it. This is me doing the work because I believe in our community. I believe in our children. And I'm thankful for it. But I'm saying that also, it can't be done alone. We have to continue to show up because there are other businesses that are looking at us, maybe want to come here and do some things, do positive things in our community because we do have need. We're looking at our community now publicly on the television and showcasing us in a way that does not look good. But you know what? We finna turn this thing around because we can. Eyes are honest. Hey, let's take these opportunities. But I would love to see people within our community. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at the people in this room. I would love to see you all come out on Saturday when all this equipment is coming out. Come out, lend a hand. Be a part of the solution. Don't be part, let's show up, show out. Roll up your sleeves. Bring your children. Hey, what can I do? Because sometimes you can't just do it alone. I can't do it alone. It's been hard. And sometimes I really want my community to just get behind me and say, hey, what do you need? Sabrina, what do you need? Last year this time, back in June, I received my honorary doctorate. Because other people in the world are looking at our community. They're looking at the works that we are doing here. And all I ask sometimes is just, hey, ask me, what do I need? I need a lot. I need volunteers. I need volunteers to help. Let's go into these schools.
What time?
You ready?
What time?
Oh, hey, I'm ready tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. You ready? I start early. I work 24/7.
What time Saturday?
On Saturday, we're going to be out there at 9 o'clock, honestly. And we need volunteers. I would love to see. It's going to be at Embarcadero Apartments. Embarcadero Apartments, 9 o'clock. But on Tuesday, when I tell you Delta Airlines is laying out the red carpet for our city, they're bringing the food, they're bringing the tents, they're bringing all of their executives, and like I said, their sales, they're going to be there. But we need to be there too, showing our support. Because we want, if they can see how we build our community, they're going to go, other people are going to look and say, hey, what else do you all need? So on Saturday, they're going to be bringing mounds of mulch. They're going to be bringing equipment. We're going to have food. But I'm just thankful. So sometimes when you look at me and I look at Mr. Barnes, I wear many hats. And I'm not scared to say it. I work. 9 out of 10 times you see me, I'm working. I start early. I go 24/7. And I don't take the job that I do here lightly. A lot of times, I'm talking, but this is my time, because I can't talk at council meeting. But there are times when I may be running, I used to be running late. But a lot of times people don't understand. I might have dropped off kids, I done did 10 million things. And I was sliding in, but my heart was there. I slid in and just got on the airplane last, because I'm committed. I'm committed to the works. But I do need help, and our community needs help. And we need to build each other up. We're a community of, we're on the spotlight. So we're gonna take a spotlight, let's spotlight to do greatness. Let's do good work and build one another up. And that's all I have to say. But I just want to say thank you, RJ. Continue to do the good work. Continue to represent College Park and making us proud. I thank you. It's not easy.
And thank you for your service, Turka.
Woo, woo, woo. And we're gonna go into executive session, so thank you. Motion to go into executive session. To discuss, let me get it right, okay? Real estate acquisition, real estate disposition, and legal matters. All in favor?
Second.
Okay.
somebody second?
Any opposed?
We don't have a second, nothing, we don't answer.
A second?
She's second.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem second.
Oh, you second.
Okay, McKenzie second. Unanimous, let's go into the executive session.
Mayor Pro Tem.
We got a break, 1 minute break. No, we got 5 minutes, so we can take a 5-minute break. Thank you.
Who motioned that, please?
Williams, motion.